Ricky Van Shelton, country legend, platinum icon, once revealed the 6 country stars he couldn't stand. And trust me, Garth Brooks was just the beginning. What made Shelton call out some of country's biggest names? Let's dive in. Ricky Van Shelton had the kind of voice that didn't just sing, it spoke to your soul. Smooth, raw, and powerful, he gave country fans songs that told truths, not trends. But behind the heartfelt ballads and the chart-topping albums was a man furious with what country music was becoming. In rare interviews and private industry chatter, Shelton revealed a list. 6 country stars he openly disliked, not for who they were, but for how they were changing the music he loved. And that list reads like a Hall of Fame lineup. Let's not sugarcoat it. Ricky Van Shelton hated what Garth Brooks did to country music. Not because Garth wasn't talented, not because he didn't sell millions of records, but because, in Ricky's eyes, Garth didn't honor the roots. He ripped them up and set them on fire. Ricky wasn't some bitter outsider yelling at clouds. He was a chart-topping legend in his own right. But when Garth exploded onto the scene, with his flashy arena shows, headset microphones, and stadium energy that felt more rock concert than country church, Ricky saw something terrifying. The death of traditional country. To Ricky, Garth didn't just bring change, he brought chaos. He turned heartfelt storytelling into a pyrotechnic-filled spectacle. Country music, once quiet and raw, suddenly had lasers and backup dancers. Shelton saw himself, and artists like him, getting pushed out by this new machine, chasing mass-market appeal. Behind closed doors, Ricky was blunt. Garth made it all about the show. We made it about the song. He didn't go on record to start a feud, but in private, he let it be known. Garth Brooks wasn't just a new star, he was a wrecking ball. And Ricky? He was standing on the front porch watching his house get torn down. Now this one, it wasn't loud, it was personal. Clint Black and Ricky Van Shelton rose up around the same time, 2 Southern boys chasing the same dream. But Ricky never saw Clint as a fellow soldier in the same war. Why? Because Clint was too clean, too controlled, too calculated. Ricky saw country music as something you live, not something you package. He'd pour out pain, struggle, love, and heartbreak into every line. But when he looked at Clint Black, what he saw wasn't heart, it was marketing. He's got the hat, the smile, the clean-cut look, but where's the grit? Shelton believed Black was built more in a boardroom than in a honky-tonk bar, that he chased the perfect image, the perfect radio song, the perfect brand, while Shelton was chasing something real. The worst part? Radio loved Clint. Awards shows loved Clint. And Ricky? He watched quietly as someone he thought was too polished to be real started getting crowned as the next voice of country. It wasn't just a rivalry, it was a slow-burning resentment. The kind you don't say out loud, but you feel deep in your gut. This one cuts deeper than the rest because Alan Jackson wasn't an enemy. He was supposed to be an ally. Like Ricky Van Shelton, Alan Jackson stood for traditional country, boots, bar rooms, and heartbreak. No flashing lights, no pop gimmicks, just steel guitars and Southern soul. So why did Ricky name him on the list? Because sometimes the person you're most bitter toward is the one standing where you think you should be. Ricky respected Alan Jackson, but behind that respect was a quiet storm of frustration. While Ricky poured his heart out in songs like I'll Leave This World Loving You, Alan was dominating radio, awards, and label attention with songs that, according to Shelton, just didn't cut as deep. He didn't think Alan was bad. He just didn't think Alan was better. But the industry, they acted like Alan was the new king of country. And Ricky, he was being quietly nudged off the throne without even a goodbye. It's like watching your own style get rewarded, just not when you do it. That's what stung the most. Shelton didn't hate Alan for his music. He hated what his success symbolized, a world where you could sound like Ricky, but only Alan got the crown. This wasn't war, it was silent rivalry, the kind that eats at your pride in the dark. If Ricky Van Shelton was the preacher's son of country music, then Travis Tritt was the wild child crashing through the church doors with a bottle in one hand and a guitar in the other. And Ricky hated every second of it. To Ricky, country was about faith, family, love, and pain. It was sacred. Travis? He brought the attitude. Southern rock, growling vocals, leather jackets, and a don't give a damn an image that spit in the face of tradition. Shelton didn't just see Tritt as different, he saw him as dangerous. This isn't country, this is noise with a cowboy hat on. What made it worse? Tritt was winning, selling out shows, getting on radio, racking up fans who thought this was the new sound of country. Meanwhile, Ricky, who stayed true to the roots, was slowly being pushed into the shadows. But it wasn't just about sound, it was values. Ricky lived his life by the book, humble, quiet, deeply rooted in gospel and Southern respect. Tritt strutted in like the genre owed him something, with a smirk and swagger that made Ricky want to walk out of the room. In interviews, Ricky never called him a fraud. He didn't have to. The look in his eyes said it all. He's everything I'm not, and the industry's eating it up. In the end, Shelton didn't just dislike Tritt's music. He couldn't stand what it represented. The death of country's soul, replaced by rebellion dressed up in denim. Now let's talk about Dwight Yoakam, the alt-country star with the tight jeans, the rockabilly swagger, and the Hollywood attitude. To fans, he was different, artsy, edgy. To Ricky Van Shelton, he was unbearable. See, Dwight wasn't just a country singer, he was building a brand, one part Elvis, one part Bakersfield Rebel, and one part I'm smarter than the rest of you. And Ricky saw right through it. He thought Dwight was arrogant, cold, the kind of guy who'd walk past you at an awards show like he didn't even see you. That man, Ricky reportedly told a close friend, ain't interested in the music. He's interested in himself. While Ricky was the guy who'd pray before a show and thank the crowd after, Yoakam came off like he was too busy looking for a mirror. Shelton felt Dwight cared more about image than integrity, more about posing than paying respect. And it went deeper. Behind the scenes, word spread that Yoakam wasn't easy to work with. He wasn't the guy who'd show up early and shake hands. He was the guy who made other artists feel like background noise. That attitude, it rubbed Ricky the wrong way every single time. Yoakam's sound was undeniably talented, but for Ricky, talent without humility was poison. He didn't just dislike Dwight's vibe, he despised what it said about the direction country music was heading. All hat, no heart. Now let's talk about Dwight Yoakam, the alt-country star with the tight jeans, the rockabilly swagger, and the Hollywood attitude. To fans, he was different, artsy, edgy. To Ricky Van Shelton, he was unbearable. See, Dwight wasn't just a country singer, he was building a brand, one part Elvis, one part Bakersfield Rebel, and one part I'm smarter than the rest of you. And Ricky saw right through it. He thought Dwight was arrogant, cold, the kind of guy who'd walk past you at an awards show like he didn't even see you. That man, Ricky reportedly told a close friend, ain't interested in the music. He's interested in himself. While Ricky was the guy who'd pray before a show and thank the crowd after, Yoakam came off like he was too busy looking for a mirror. Shelton felt Dwight cared more about image than integrity, more about posing than paying respect. And it went deeper. Behind the scenes, word spread that Yoakam wasn't easy to work with. He wasn't the guy who'd show up early and shake hands. He was the guy who made other artists feel like background noise. That attitude, it rubbed Ricky the wrong way every single time. Yoakam's sound was undeniably talented, but for Ricky, talent without humility was poison. He didn't just dislike Dwight's vibe, he despised what it said about the direction country music was heading. All hat, no heart. And then there was Vince Gill. This one wasn't loud, there were no public jabs, no shady interviews, but make no mistake, Ricky Van Shelton didn't trust him. To the outside world, Vince was the golden boy of country, smooth voice, clean cut, the kind of guy you could take home to meet your mom and play at your wedding. But behind the curtain, Ricky saw someone else, a man who played the game too well. Jill was a perfectionist, every note polished, every show flawless, every interview crafted to charm. And while the fans ate it up, Ricky felt sick. He believed Vince was playing too close to the pop world, tailoring his sound, his image, and even his collaborations to fit the mainstream. The same machine that was slowly silencing voices like Ricky's. And it wasn't just about music. There were whispers in Nashville that Vince would shake your hand in the studio, then undercut your radio slot in the boardroom. Was it true? Who knows? But to Ricky, it felt true. That gut instinct never left him. He respected Vince's skill, but he never trusted his spirit. To Ricky, Vince was the embodiment of a new era in country, one built on polish instead of pain, where the packaging mattered more than the purpose, where the story came second to the sale. Vince never made a mistake, Ricky once said. That's the problem. Now here's the part no one wants to admit. It wasn't just about the 6 names, it was about the system that crowned them. Ricky Van Shelton didn't just feel left out, he felt betrayed. He gave the industry everything. His voice, his soul, his pain, his truth. But when the 90s rolled in, the rules changed, and nobody warned him. Suddenly, country music wasn't about how real you were, it was about how marketable you were. The labels stopped asking, can you sing a story that breaks hearts? And started asking, can you sell out stadiums? Can you charm pop radio? And just like that, artists like Ricky were quietly phased out. Not fired, not attacked, just forgotten, replaced. The 6 names he hated? They were just the faces of the shift. The real villain, the industry machine, grinding up tradition and spitting out plastic. And Ricky felt that deeply. Not in anger, but in heartbreak. He didn't just lose radio play, he lost a home. So now I ask you, do you miss that kind of music, the kind that felt like a story whispered straight to your heart? Because if you do, Ricky Van Shelton never left. You just have to press play.